Hello class, welcome back to chapter 9.6, and it's very similar to 9.5 except for that it includes this A now, and that A obviously represents a number, B represents a number, and C represents a number. So before, when we created our two parentheses, okay, we knew that x squared was just x and x, but now we're going to treat it as we do the C, where the C, the factors of C go here. Now the factors of A will go here in the front. So let's look at it. So factor when B is negative and C is positive. So same rules apply to the signs inside the parentheses. C is a plus, follow the sign in front of the B twice. Now, the great thing about this problem right here is 2 and 3 are both prime numbers. So now I just need to make sure that I put them in the right spot. Okay? I use the method of guess and check, kind of. So I know to make up 2x squared, I have to have a 2x and a 1x. Now in my head, I look at this problem and say, should I put the 1 here or should I put the 3 here? Or vice versa. So this is my thoughts. Should I go with this one or this one right here? And again, the main thing in the end is when you FOIL it, is that you have this in the middle, negative 7x. So to check your work, I would do outer and inner. Okay? So outer and inner, outer, inner. So I have negative 2x, negative 3x, which gives me negative 5x. Over here, outer, negative 6x, negative 1x. So you see, that gives you negative 7x. Okay? So I like the guess and check method. I like to think about plugging in my first A into the front of the parentheses and then looking where I need to put C to get my middle term. And then you have to check your work. It's very important, especially when the signs switch and they're a plus minus or minus plus. You have to look and check. So here, when B is positive and C is negative. Well, we know when C is negative, automatically plus minus or minus plus, however you want to label it. Again, 3 is prime, perfect. 3n, 1n. Now, it may switch because the signs are different now, so we're going to have to play this game a little bit. So 5 is prime, and we know that we need a positive 14n. So, guess and check. You could put the 5 here, 1 here, or you could switch that. Oops, sorry. It's supposed to be a 5. But again, in the end, we got to make sure that we have a positive 14n. Positive 14n. So check this. We got negative 3n. Positive 5n gives me a positive 2n. So that one doesn't work out. So over here, negative 15n plus 1n gives me negative 14n squared. Or 14n, sorry. Negative 14n. So we know that we're given the right number, but the wrong sign. Okay, we need a positive 14n, and this is a negative 14n. So what you do is automatically just switch the signs. Okay, we got the number we wanted, but you need to make sure that it's the right value. So I want to choose this one, but I want to switch the signs. So now in my head, that's a positive 15n. It's a negative 1n. Gives me a positive 14n. Okay? So I'm okay with pushing the signs in first, guessing, checking where things should go, double checking, see if you just need to switch the signs, or do you really need to switch numbers. So here's some more examples. Let's look. So on this one right here, we know both of our signs are positive. Now 4 has factors of 1 times 4 and 2 times 2 and 1 times 3. Well, we have the same sign, so automatically it doesn't matter where we put the 1 and the 3, the front term, but it does matter about the second term, because remember, we have to get a positive 8t out. So in your head, you could start plugging numbers in. 1 and 4. Okay, we got 4t and 3t. Gives me 7t. Doesn't work out. If I flip-flop these, I put a 4 here. Put a 1 here. Okay, I'm left with 1t plus 12t. Gives me 13t. So unfortunately the 1 and 4 did not work out here. Okay, so I had to go to the 2 and 2. So 2t plus 6t equals 8t. So this would be my final answer. So again, you have to do some guessing checking to see where your answer is. So let's look at this one here. Signs automatically negative, negative. 3n is prime, which works out perfect. Factors of 10. I need 1, 2, 5, and 10. Remember, I need negative 17 out. So, so I can plug in 5, 2. Let's try it. Negative 15n. Negative 2n. Gives me my negative 17n. Sometimes you could just guess. I knew it was going to be 2 or 5 probably, because 10 and 1 would not give me the negative 17. Okay, so guess and check, plug numbers in. Okay, just to see what you get in the end. So let's take a look at this one. Now this is the first time, signs are going to be the same, but this is the first time that our A has different factors. Our last number is prime though. So really we could plug this in, since it's prime and we have the same sign. When you have different signs, I'd be very careful. But since we have the same sign, we can plug that in. Remember, I need negative 9s. So think in your head, how could I get that? Okay, so let's plug in 2 and 2. That's negative 10. Oh, didn't put the s in. 10s minus 2s equals negative 12s. That didn't work out. If I flip-flop the 2's, still wouldn't work out. So the 2's don't work. So let's look at 4 and 1. Negative 5s, negative 4s gives me a negative 9s, and that's what I need out. So this would be my solution. In my head, before I wrote the 4 and the 1, I did put the 4 in the front here, but I knew when I outer here, I would get negative 20s, 4 times 5, so I knew that wouldn't work out. So in your head, you can already start to plug them in mentally to kind of see what you'd come up with. The main thing is, when you plug it in, is that you get your middle term out. So you have to check the outer and inner. It's very important. You know the first part will give you your first A, and you know C. Okay, when you multiply the last part, you know will get you C. The main thing is, can you get your middle term out? So factor when A is negative. Well, the first main rule is a cannot be negative. So we got to think about how we can get a to be positive. And we're going to multiply it by -1. A cannot be negative. So multiply it by -1. So when you multiply by -1, you're multiplying everything by -1. So now we have 4x squared minus 12x minus 7. Now we're going to factor that. And since we're factoring, that -1 has to remain on the outside. And since c is negative, we know it's plus minus, or minus plus, either way. 7 is prime. It's always awesome when you get a prime number. Okay, and remember, my main goal is to get a -12x out. Okay, so let's just start plugging in numbers. I'm going to go with a 2x and a 2x. And then a 1 and a 7. So, we get 14x minus 2x gives me 12x. Right out the bat, I got it. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't get it. I look back here. Remember, you gotta look back here. I need a -12. So remember, go back a couple slides. If I get the right coefficient in front, but the wrong sign, this is a positive, I need a negative. Remember, go back and just automatically switch the signs. Okay, so my final answer here is -1 parentheses 2x plus 1 and parentheses 2x minus 7. Okay, so remember, a cannot be negative, but we got to show that we took that out. Okay, and remember, again, important rule, after you FOIL, if you're given the right coefficient in front of that variable, just switch the signs if they don't have the correct value. So take out -1. So I'm left with 2 positive signs now, and I want 13x in the end. So remember, 3 is prime, which works out perfect. And then 4, we got to think about whether I want to use 4 and 1 or 2 and 2. So let's go with let me just show you if 2 and 2, 2 and 2 does not work out, but let me show you. You get 6x and you get 2x, which gives you 8x. Won't give you that. Even if I flip-flop the 2's, doesn't matter, you're still going to get 8x. Okay, so let's take out the 2 and 2. Put the 4 and 1 in there. So it does matter where you put the 4 and 1 now. So we get 12x, we get 1x, gives us our 13x. So this is our solution right here. Okay, I knew that because if I put the 4 here, I knew 4 times 1 is 4x, 3 times 1 is 3x. Add those together, you get 7x. Does not give you the 13. So my main thing for you is to guess and check. Plug it in. Use FOIL to check your solution to see if you get the correct trinomial back in the end. Or, if you just check O and I, then you get your main term back in the middle. Okay? I'm going to speed up a little bit because I only have under a minute. But when you're given an equation like this, you first have to solve it and get it equal to 0. Okay, so now we have 12y squared minus 28y plus 16 equals 1. Now I need to get the set equal to 0, remember. So minus 1 over. So 12y squared minus 28y plus 15 equals 0. Now I can factor from here. Okay, and this is a little bit different factoring. I'll let you figure this one out on your own for time's sake. But it's minus minus, but these have different factors. They're not prime. So over here we're given 20b squared minus 3b minus 2 equals 0. So again, don't worry about 20 being so large. Okay, you have different signs here. Make sure you plug it in. I'll let you do that on your own. But remember, in the end here, set both of these equal to 0 because you're set equal to 0 here. So you get 2 values for x. Okay? Hope you have a wonderful class. Email me if you have any questions. Take care.